think it is important for me to mention that I am a mom. If you guys have not picked up on that already, I am a mom. Now, I did get off the phone with my doctor. I had a great conversation with him. I mean, and I don't know. As I process it, it gets more and more overwhelming, but I've suspected it for a little while. Today is Sunday, December 3rd. I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling as well as I was yesterday. I'm feeling a little bit more fatigued and I have a little bit more brain fog, but a little less smiley, as you can see. I don't really feel like doing this video at all. Feeling a little bit less motivated, but I really want to commit to doing these because I think they're going to help me as well as you guys, hopefully. So here I am, I'm sitting down doing it. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of a harder time processing information at any kind of speed. I was feeling better this morning. Actually, I woke up feeling more fatigued than I did yesterday morning, and oftentimes it's a really good indicator. Whenever I wake up, how fatigued I feel is a pretty good indicator on how fatigued I'm going to feel for the rest of the day. Now, you say, yeah, of course, like, obviously, but it's different levels of fatigue than, oh, I just didn't get a good night's sleep. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. I am not as motivated. I'm having a harder time with patience, so finding myself getting overwhelmed much sooner. Something that I have realized, I feel like I've been slowly realizing it for maybe a couple of weeks now, is that anytime I'm doing anything, I put like an immense amount of pressure on myself to like get it done as quickly as I can, get it checked off the checklist, do it to 100% of my ability. It's just a very like charged experience, and it could be something as simple as going to the bathroom, or going to the freezer, the outdoor freezer to get something for dinner. Like I have to do it as quick as possible, get it done, go 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 go. And I think I'm really noticing a correlation between that and my energy drain. So I've been actively recognizing that when I'm experiencing that and telling myself, okay, this is not the situation for this. You don't have to be in a rush. You have time. It's not like the end of the world if you don't get this done today or even in the next hour. It's not a big deal. And so really helping myself understand that, and it's really amazing how it's just kind of ingrained in me to have that mentality. To start talking with an empowerment coach on Thursday, so I will come and let you know how that goes. I'm really suspecting that I have CFS, and I'm not able to remember from yesterday whether I mentioned CFS. I think I did, maybe. CFS is short for, or an acronym for, chronic fatigue syndrome. Now there are two different versions of CFS. There is ME/CFS, which ME stands for like a long medical name, which I'll put on the screen because I cannot remember what it is or cannot spell it or pronounce it at the moment, especially today. But I'm really suspecting that I have that going on. And so a lot of the success stories surrounding chronic fatigue syndrome have to do with something called brain training or brain retraining. And really it's more of like a brain body experience. And so I'm hopeful that that will help in having an empowerment coach to talk to, and she's going to help me deal with some of the things exactly like what I just told you, where I'm recognizing that I am having that like gotta get it done now. Like I think it's kind of an overachiever mindset where it has to be done now and as quick as possible. So I'm hoping that talking with her will help and even maybe prove that theory. I'm going to talk to my doctor about it as well and see if he knows anything about CFS. It's one of those symptoms, or one of those give me a minute. Those conditions, syndromes, I don't know, that's really, really difficult to diagnose because everybody kind of has a different experience with it. And so my symptoms could be similar to the person sitting next to me with CFS, but not exactly the same. And so it's really hard for doctors to put everybody in this perfect little box saying, yes, check, 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 you have CFS. So it makes it really, really difficult for them to diagnose, and obviously then really difficult for people to find solutions for. But I found this lady on YouTube, and I know her first name is Raylan. I cannot for the life of me remember once again what her last name is, but she has been a wealth of knowledge in the CFS kind of world. Granted, I don't know for sure if I have CFS. I'm just going based on what I feel like God is leading me towards this time. I pray for him to just show me the next step, just show me what the next step is. And that's really what I've been doing this whole time. And that's what he keeps kind of pushing me in the direction of. So I'm going for it. I'm going to see if doing some of these things that on her channel she mentions, she brings other people who have had like debilitating CFS onto her channel, who have recovered from like fibromyalgia, CFS, ME/CFS, and stuff like that, and asks them like what they did, what their symptoms were, like all of these, their success stories, and they've been kind of scary and terrifying, but also very encouraging that there is a solution here if that is what I am experiencing. So trying to figure out how I'm going to structure these videos. I'm going to do a little kind of clip every day that I can, and honestly guys, some days it's just going to maybe be like a 10-second clip of me laying in bed, because sometimes that's all I can manage. So I am hoping that this is going to be a little bit of a journal for me, that I can look back, my husband can look back, maybe even health providers can look back and say, okay, on December 3rd, 2023, you were feeling good. You weren't feeling as well as December 2nd, 2023, but maybe, you know, what did you eat, or what did you do that day before, etc. So because I was feeling better yesterday, I used that to get quite a bit done, and that might have not been a smart idea. But I'm telling you, man, like when you deal with these symptoms, well, on the days that you feel motivated, energized, when I say energized, I mean like enough energy to do a bunch of stuff that you need to do, like the laundry and cleaning the bathrooms and cleaning the floor, the dishes, like whatever, you take it, because once again, all of a sudden you have that energy and you're like, oh yeah, like let's get all the things done. But sometimes you can overdo it. Sometimes I overdo it. Once again, guys, remember, I'm overachiever over here. So that could be why I'm experiencing kind of a little bit more of crash symptoms today, but trying to figure it out. So yeah, I think that is all I have for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully it's another good day. Okay, today is December 4th, 2023. I feel like I have that wrong. No, I think that's right. Today I'm feeling about the same as yesterday, I would say, but a little bit different. So my brain fog is a little bit more, so it's harder for me to process information quickly, but I've really been working on that trick that realization that I've been having, where anytime I feel like I'm in that heightened sense of urgency or pressure, I'm calming myself down and telling myself, nope, that's not necessary in this situation. I just went to the grocery store earlier and felt the need to like get it done as quickly as possible. And then I'm like, no, it's not necessary. And so I think that's been helping, just breathing through kind of stressful situations. And they're not even like actually stressful situations. I don't know how else to describe it. Like I'm creating kind of the stress for myself. And so I've been trying to mitigate that as much as I can and just recognize it and watch it and say, okay, no, that's not serving me. But I am feeling kind of tired and fatigued, not as badly. I would say maybe a level 5 out of 10. And that's probably what December 2nd was. That good day that I had was probably a 3 I was feeling. And so today is a 5. Probably yesterday was, I don't know, 5 as well. I don't know. I'm really quite not good at scoring from 1 to 10 just because I'm a perfectionist and I feel like I have to get it just right or it's not going to make sense. Even in hospitals when they're like, what version of pain are you having? And I'm just like, oh, there aren't enough smiley faces. I'm just a bit of a perfectionist. And I feel like I have to have it exactly right or it's not accurate. So once again, guys, this is a journal for me just as much as it is for you. As I sit here and talk to you guys and talk to my camera, I'm figuring stuff out as well. So it's been pretty good so far. Again, today, I didn't really want to sit down and do this. I have other stuff that I want to be doing instead, but I'm glad now that I'm here, I'm doing it because I really do see that it's going to be valuable, I think, and just feeling that sense of completion in what God is calling me to do. And you know what? You guys might never see these videos, but at least I'm doing what I feel like he's calling me to do and in that obedience, living in that obedience. So I'm really glad that I sat down. Maybe a little bit of insecurity of doing these. I'm feeling like that nobody's going to want to watch or somebody's going to think that I'm just trying to get attention because I'm putting out on the internet that I feel bad all the time and I'm just doing it for attention. And that is not the case at all. It's quite scary to put this stuff out on the internet. It's not even the same as putting a post on social media. It's different. Like people get to see your face actively as you're talking about it. And it's kind of terrifying. It's terrifying at the thought of being judged and taken the wrong way and people not seeing your heart. And I don't know. So I'm having a little bit of insecurity about that. I've had a couple of those to where I'm like, you know what? No, let's just not. Let's just go back to the safe place, which is not talking to the world potentially about how you're feeling and the pretty deep struggles that I'm having with my health right now. And so that would be something else that I'm dealing with today, I guess. But once again, it's an urgency that that he's placed on my heart. So I really want to honor him, and truly he's the only one that I should care about his thoughts or his judgment of me. And so I'm really trying to live in that space and just trust and know that he has my best interest at heart, and he is not going to lead me astray, and he's going to comfort me if somebody has something ugly to say, or I don't know. And so far you guys have been amazing, so I don't know why I'm concerned about it. But it's just the potential for that. Quite a sensitive person. I'm confident, but I'm sensitive, and people's words can really do mean, or not mean as much, but they can potentially harm. And I think that everybody is like that, or most people. My husband is much more thick-skinned than I am, and so even the other night he was having a conversation, and he was, kind of bantering it out with somebody and negotiating, that would be the correct term, and he was just like, hey, do you see how I did that? And I'm like, yes, and it made me want to exit the room because I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, oh, this conversation is so like scary, and it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. He was doing it in a very appropriate way, and it was absolutely something to learn from, and I do. But he does that all the time. Like, he has those moments where I learn from him all the time in those particular situations. But I think that is about it. I'm going to keep doing these, even though I'm afraid of judgment and ridicule and people thinking ill of me and that I have the wrong intentions. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it. But you guys might hear me say that I'm afraid a couple times. I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I did get off the phone with my doctor. I had a great conversation with him. I don't know. As I process it, it gets more and more overwhelming, but I've suspected it for a little while. He did confirm that he strongly suspects a diagnosis of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. So he used some medical term diagnosis because I asked him point blank. I said, okay, are you diagnosing me with fibromyalgia and with chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS? And he said, well, it would be this term diagnosis. And I cannot for the life of me remember what that name is. It's like some medical term. And my understanding of it is with these particular syndromes or diagnoses, there's not like a blood test that says, yes, you have it. It's a compilation of symptoms that kind of come together and make this diagnosis, really. And once you've tested for all of the other things, I say all, I know that there's probably still hundreds of tests that I could go through, but when we've exhausted other avenues that could be causing those things and they all come back normal, it helps them compile an understanding of these diagnoses. So it's really hard to diagnose both fibromyalgia as well as especially chronic fatigue syndrome. They don't know really what causes it. They don't really have a solution. Fibromyalgia is a little bit more well known. And there are some medications that he told me that they could offer me, but based on my research and other people that I've seen go through fibromyalgia and stuff like that, they say that it doesn't really work. So granted, I'm sure there are people out there that those medications have been an absolute godsend, and I am not trying to discredit anyone's experience while I talk about my own. So this just happened a couple hours ago where I got off of the phone with him. So I've still just kind of been processing the information. Well, on one hand, it's a relief for sure, just because now I have an answer. I feel like I have more definition to what I'm going through, but that's starting to wear off, and the overwhelming, wow, you have these things that doctors really don't know a whole lot about, as well as there's no like known cure for it. It's starting to sink in. Now, I'm on the fourth day, and I keep forgetting to look up this lady's last name, but I will put her channel in here on the screen, as well as I'll link her information below. But she has been a wealth of knowledge to me during this exploration period, and I might even actually reach out to her. But her first name is Raylan. I can't remember what her last name is, but I'll put it in. And so she talks to people all over the world about CFS and fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia and CFS, based on my understanding and my research, kind of walk hand in hand. If you have one, you don't have the other, but they do definitely kind of walk hand in hand. Very grateful to God for giving me those answers. I prayed that he would. I've been praying that he would give me those answers, and he's given them to me today. There's one more thing that my doctor wants to, excuse me for a minute, to do. I know that's not really the term that I wanted to say, but to do with it, which is a sleep study to see how I'm sleeping and why my sleep is so kind of disrupted, and why I'm having a hard time with sleep. But that actually just kind of further confirms the diagnosis, and he even used the term like chicken and an egg, like which one comes first. And once again, to my research, that is the way that it kind of happens, like which one is causing the other one to happen first. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done and see if we can improve my sleep, and we'll go from there. All right, December 6th, 2023. I got a new tripod and I feel like it like shakes. I don't know. I recorded the very first video on this thing and I'm editing it now and it's like, I don't know, all over the place. It's very annoying. But I don't see it in the like the playback right now, so I don't know. So, I don't know, we're just winging it. And now like the sun is coming out, so it's gonna okay, I'm just gonna do this because I don't know if it's gonna get any better. So here we go. Sorry if there's any shaking. I will try to rectify the situation. And then the fluctuating light, I use natural light for my lighting. So if it's kind of all over the place, I'm sorry. I will try to figure that out. I don't normally do daily videos, so I'm having to figure out stuff on the fly. But December 6th, so this is now the second day that I've had a diagnosis of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS. And yesterday was kind of strange, like just trying to have it sink in and the relief of having a diagnosis, but then the overwhelm of, whoa, okay, now we have to like bite off the parts of like trying to help me like manage the symptoms. But I'm also so grateful to God because it had to have been a couple months ago. I just happened to come upon, I remember her last name now, guys. Look at me. Oh, forgot her first name. Raylan Eagle. Her last name is Agle. And it just so happened that one of her videos popped up on my YouTube like suggested videos lists for chronic fatigue syndrome. And I started watching it, and this was one of the days that I was kind of bedridden in half of the day. So I get a break in the middle of the day, and oftentimes that's right now for me. So when I'm doing these videos, it's in the middle of the day. So that was one of the days where I just had to like lay down in bed and just lay down. And I clicked on it and I was like, interesting, it's chronic fatigue syndrome. And I feel like I'd heard about it just a little bit in my other research over kind of the last handful of years. But I watched it and it hit me pretty hard, actually. I was pretty upset for about a week. I remember calling my sister kind of in tears, being like, oh man, like I think this is what I have. It's really overwhelming because there's no legit diagnosis. There's no blood test that I can get that says, yes, you have this. And I was seeing these people and hearing them telling their stories of being like bedridden for years and having like these really intense symptoms. And I was just like, oh man, like, is that what I have to look forward to? Is that what I'm going to experience? And I'm really grateful to God for presenting that to me months ago so that I could then kind of slowly digest this probable outcome that I am now sitting on. So I have gotten this diagnosis of the fibromyalgia and the chronic fatigue syndrome. And so I've had that handful of months to really like do research and watch all of these videos. And all these videos ultimately are success stories of these people finding ways that work for them to managing their symptoms and ultimately really getting back to what a lot of them are saying, like 100% recovered. So if you are to Google right now, if you were to Google either fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome or ME/CFS, they would say that there is no cure. There's nothing that they can really do to give you a cure or help you even really manage it. My doctor yesterday, he was just like, listen, he was like, we in the medical community, we know of these things, but we don't know enough about them and we don't know a lot about them to help a whole lot. So, you know, bless him, he was doing what he could. But anyway, thank you God for his timing, because this was the time that this diagnosis was supposed to happen. Not even 4 months ago when I first found that one video where it really started to light that fire, being like, hold on, all of these symptoms align, all of these stories are sounding very familiar. And so, yeah, just realizing and recognizing God's perfect timing. And I'm so blessed to have a handful of really close friends and friends who know me deeply. And one of my friends I have known now for 13 years. When I first moved out there is when I got really sick. And so then shortly after that, I met my friend Hillary. And she has been one of those friends who just kind of immediately we got on. We just were really close. And it's amazing. Our friendship is incredible. Anyway, so I was talking to her last night about this, and she was like, wow, like, this is amazing. Like, you finally have a diagnosis. Like, how are you feeling? And I was like, honestly, like, I just don't know. I don't know quite how to wrap my head around it, as well as with the nature of the diagnosis being that there's these things are so hard to diagnose. I feel kind of like a liar for going around and being like, oh no, I absolutely have these things. And she's like, no. She was like, you need to basically read the pamphlets that he sent you on it. And she's just like, they mention that in the like little medical journal, like paperwork that he sent you. And I was just like, oh, I read through them a little bit, but I didn't read that. I don't remember seeing that. And she's just like, yeah, like this is a common reaction. This is not just you. She's like, you have to embrace it so that we can start moving forward with it. And I was just like, man, I just love your face. She's just incredible. And I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed to have those handful of friends who God has allowed me to open up to and to be vulnerable with. As you know, if you've watched any of the other videos on my channel, you know that I struggle with vulnerability. I'm afraid of giving people ways to hurt me. And so opening up and being open and allowing people to see kind of the inside onion layers of me is a bit of a process for me, for sure. And in my younger years, back when I was a kid, I would give it up freely. And so that's who I am. But, you know, age and wisdom has made me, and experience has made me want to protect my inside onion layers. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just really, really blessed to have those people in my life. And obviously my husband is one of those people as well. Just so trusted, and I'm so grateful to have him walking through this journey with me. And my family is incredible as well. And so God just has set it up in such an amazing way. I'm noticing that having the diagnosis is really helping me process it. This morning I woke up really tired. Granted, I did not have a good night's sleep. We're dealing with sleep regressions in our house, and so that's always really challenging. And so I wasn't able to go to sleep at my normal time, and so like I'd already gone to bed late, and then sleep regressions happened and all that great stuff. And so I woke up feeling pretty tired. Also having the body pain still. My ankle is still hurting off and on, and so that's challenging. But having those moments of being like, oh man, like I don't like the overwhelm of, man, like I have so much of this day left and I'm already so tired and so exhausted and so demotivated to do much of anything. But wanting to, like knowing that I want to, I don't even know how else to describe that. But, and then I was like, no, like you have an answer for this now. It's okay. Like just one day at a time, one moment at a time. It's okay. We'll get through this. And so I'm finding that knowing is really helping me at this today. I don't know whether it will help this afternoon. I don't know whether it'll help tomorrow, but today, right now, is helping quite a bit. And knowing that there is a path now to walk down is really helpful. My body pain was definitely higher this morning. When I sat up at one point, I had like this thing in my back that happened. You guys like that? Sometimes there are just no words, okay? You're gonna know that about me. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Okay. See if we can make this not shake again. December 7th, 2023. Today was my first like official meeting or appointment with the empowerment coach, which went really, really well. She already has like such helpful information based on all of my research and videos that I've seen. The course Forward with Fibromyalgia and Chronic Fatigue Syndrome is like a mind-body connection and really helping to aid in stress and stress management, dealing with things that maybe you've been suppressing that are causing stress within your body, which is then contributing to all these other things. Now, whenever I say this, I really do not want to offend or, what is the term? Disqualify other people who are going through this experience and have a different course of action. I am just taking my own. This is a path that I'm going to walk down, and I really pray that it gives results. But it in no way discredits your own path. If you're watching me and you're on your own path, don't feel like you've got to jump ship to my path, because I'm really just walking into the void also. And so if I can be helpful, that's great. But how about just reach out to me and we'll discuss it. Maybe you have something going on that I don't know about that could help me. So yeah, no, I don't mean this series in any way to discredit anybody else's experience or anybody else's treatment plan or any of that, but this is going to be me running into that void and being terrified of it, but also knowing that beyond that void is healing. My body pain was pretty high this morning. I was quite uncomfortable. My fatigue has been high today as well, but not super high. I don't know. It's been a different kind of fatigue. It's been just like a general tiredness where I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely tired. But thankfully it hasn't been that like hard to breathe, hard to function, hard to talk type of tired. So winning, at least that. Still just wrapping my head around it, for sure. Like telling people that there's a diagnosis is both invigorating and yet scary. Most people don't know or understand that fibromyalgia, I feel like, is better known or more well known, but the chronic fatigue syndrome, or CFS, ME/CFS, is not. And so, yeah, I think I'm just a little bit concerned or overwhelmed about people's reception of that, and thinking that I'm just making it up in my head, and just really unfortunate. So, on time, I guess. But I think that's it for today. I don't think I have anything else. Body pain definitely is heightened. But once again, still the knowing what it is helping for sure. There's at the moment, I'm not having that anger and frustration towards the symptoms anymore. It's more just like an understanding where it's like, you know what? This is what you have. And you're working towards a solution. Where before I was working towards a solution as well, it seemed so massive. And like I was just shooting in the dark all over the place and it was this moving target. And so everything just kind of caused me anxiety where I was like, okay, is it food? Is it environmental? Like what is it? What is making my body do this? And now I have an answer for that. And now I can just kind of put my head down and be like, okay, it's okay. You're going to get through this. And now at least you have an answer. That is hurting because of this, not because you did it to yourself by eating whatever you ate last night. You hear what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah. Hi guys. Today is December 8th, 2023. It is a Friday. I'm definitely on a slow decline down. Like I'm pretty tired today. My symptoms are elevated for sure. Just kind of not feeling it. As you can see, I have like acne coming back, but I think that's my own doing. I ate cheese 2 days in a row, like 2 days ago, and I find that dairy breaks my face out really badly. So if I'm careful with it, if I only do it like every once in a while, I only get like 1 or 2 reminders that I shouldn't, but you know. Yeah, I'm just feeling not super great today. Tired. My body pain is actually a little bit better, maybe. But I realized today, I think that I'm going to start doing videos daily still, but of the day before, because what I noticed yesterday was that I said, oh, I'm not as tired, but then as the afternoon went on and by the evening time, I was quite fatigued. So I think if I'm going to be fair to myself and to you guys, like I need to have like the data for the whole day, not just the morning, because oftentimes the morning is when I do the best. So that's what I'm going to start doing, I think. But I told you guys I was going to do this like on the fly, and that's what I'm doing. I already mentioned this in one of the other days, but I guess it's important to mention if I'm doing some kind of video journal, is that like I'm still feeling a little insecure about telling people about my diagnosis. I just told one of my sister-in-laws today, and was so supportive and so lovely, and she's just wonderful. But I don't know, like I feel strange, like I feel like it's gonna get taken away or something, which I mean, in some regards would be a good thing, obviously, but at the same time, I have an answer, and I have such a relief in that answer, and I have such a direction to walk now. So yeah, I don't know. And also like people's response to it, which is something that I am working on, is not being as much of a people pleaser and walking a godly life in the way that I know God wants me to live, and not searching for people's acceptance and really caring about what they think about a diagnosis that I have within my own physical body. But I'm noticing that I am a little bit anxious about that. Actually, yeah, a little bit anxious about that. Or just kind of nervous about their response and not really necessarily wanting to deal with the response. Like more of the negative response. I think I'm more afraid of the response that is like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. Like I had a cousin who had it and they were perfectly fine and they went on this medication and they got over it. Like I think I'm like wary of that because it's very dismissive. It's very like, oh, okay, well, that's no big deal. Like what you're experiencing doesn't matter or is not as serious as you want to believe, or what is it? I don't know. And I'm very possibly just putting words and feelings in people's mouths and brains, but I'm noticing that that's stopping me a little bit from telling people, even the people that are close to me, generally close to me. So I'm working on that, and I'm working on just being like, you know what, this is what's going on. I need to embrace it. Like, I really, truly need to embrace it. I'm still kind of stuck in that like la la land between, hey, you got a diagnosis, and okay, let's start doing something actively about it. Although I am doing stuff actively about it now that I think about it. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. I'm tired today. Definitely not feeling it. Tired, I'm groggy, brain fog is high, I'm just having a hard time functioning at a large scale of anything. I'm on double coffees a day, which I think is probably not going to be a good thing. My body hurts. I think that's all for today. Oh. At least I'm not in bed. That's a good thing. Well, I wish I was in bed, but I'm not. That's it for today. That's all I got. December 10th, 2023. Today has been rough. I'm on a slow crash for sure. Sometimes it's next day. Like sometimes I can feel perfectly fine one day. I say perfectly fine, guys. When I say perfectly fine, I mean like I feel functional to a certain degree. I have to say I don't even really remember what it feels like to be healthy, like to feel normal. So when I say that, like when I say like I feel normal, it's really just my take on like a better version of what I experience. I don't know. I'll explain that more whenever I'm not having a crash day. All right, if I remember. I'm super groggy. Brain fog is high. I feel like my muscles are weak, like they're just not getting enough to operate. So when that happens, I also am really clumsy. I will drop stuff. I will bump into things. I will injure myself a lot more. So it's kind of like, how do I even explain it? For example, I'm making bread right now, and I went to hang my hot mitts back up on the hook, and I missed the hook. Like, you know, oh, okay, hook, and dropped it. I don't know how else to describe it. And I don't know, I feel like in saying that, like it sounds so simple and like, yeah, you know, once again, you guys are like, yeah, I do that too, but it's a different, like my brain is convinced that I was close enough to the hook. There was one time when my mom was here and I was carrying a plate and I went to put it on the table and I dropped the plate because like I missed the table. And later she was like, Jen, like, what do you think happened there? And I'm like, Mom, honestly, I don't know. Like in my mind, the plate was on the table. Like the plate made the table. And so it's things like that. I'm having that happening to me today. So it's always a little bit more challenging, especially with the frustration of it for sure, because it's just like, seriously? It's like if I'm trying to clean up messes and then I'm making messes for myself, it's really, really frustrating. And then with the pain, like with the hurting myself thing, there's something about being in a constant state of pain. And then when you hurt yourself, it's even more painful. I don't know. It's just, there's like more pain is always a bad thing. Like it's never a comfortable experience for anyone. But when you're already in this state of kind of an agonizing state, just kind of your whole body, and then you stub your toe, it makes the stubbed toe just so much more heightened and so much more painful. And everybody hates a stubbed toe, like it's one of the worst things. But it makes it so much more like kind of like a whole body experience. I hope I'm describing that correctly or making that hit the right way. Wow. As you can see, like I'm having a really hard time processing information, and these times are always the hardest to put out there because I feel, for lack of a better term at the moment, kind of like an idiot. Like I do not mean that in a derogatory sense. Like I mean that where I'm just like, wow, like you are really not like functioning at a normal level, and that's very difficult for me. And putting that out to people is challenging. Normally I just kind of retreat into myself on these days and in these moments, and I'm just like, okay, maybe tomorrow will be better, like maybe the next moment will be better, and I'm searching for ways to better function. So I'm gonna try to start doing it half days, or like from now till the next video, which is halfway through the afternoon, it's like about noon, I'm going to do my videos segmented like that so that I can get like the whole kind of day. What is it? 12 hours, 24 hours. So from like noon to noon type idea is what I'm going to start doing my videos at, to try to be able to get the whole scope of the day versus just in the morning. I was definitely having a hard time with like just body fatigue and body pain, which body pain for me is constant. I do not remember a time when I did not have body pain. Really, I don't remember not having body pain, aside from when I was a child, obviously, but in my adult life especially, I don't remember a time when I didn't have body pain. Yesterday, I just had to lay down on the floor and just try to relax my entire body, and that's really what I've been trying to focus on. I'm taking small steps before I take the big step and really start to commit to not a program, but trying to figure out what trail looks best for me specifically, because it's so easy to get it's so easy for me to get motivated by like one trail and just like go full on into that one trail, but then I miss things kind of along the side of the trail because I'm going too fast. And I'm trying to not do that with this. I'm trying to do the slow and easy, like have you heard of the tortoise and the hare? My mom used to tell me that, tell us that story all the time as kids. I'm trying to be the tortoise this time versus the hare, because oftentimes I'm the hare. And so I'm trying to take a much calmer, I don't know what my camera is doing, a much calmer approach to it in general. I know I've mentioned in one of the other videos how I tend to be in like that sense of time pressure constantly, and I've really been trying to adjust my self-expectation and even the expectations of people around me and say, you know what, it's okay if this takes longer. And I think I'm going to start setting my life up to accommodate for that, because I feel the energy draw, even if it's something as simple as making dinner. Okay, well, maybe I come in from outside 30 minutes earlier than I normally would so that I don't have to be in that rush, get it done, pressure, stress scenario. And that is really what I'm trying to take with every single moment of my day. That's something that I've been actively working on, and it's been helping. I feel a difference in my body and in my mind, along with my diagnoses of, okay, but this is why you're doing this. You have this. This is a known contributor to this. And if you calm this down, maybe it's going to help with this. And so that is something that I've really actively been working on, along with sitting down and doing these videos every day. I think I'm really recognizing it's helping. It's a type of journaling for me. And I've done journaling before and kind of fell off of it due to just the amount of time and the energy that it sits down to write something out, which I know that there's so much benefit for that, and I'm going to try to get back to that as well. But for me right now, that seems like too much. But sitting down and talking to a camera for some reason right now is a lot still, for absolutely. But it seems to be working, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm also really motivated to put this out to help other people and myself. My sister had a really solid point where I was talking to her about this, and she was like, Jenny, maybe it's just going to help you. Have you thought about that? And I was just like, no, actually, I had not considered that. And so I really want to do this, whether it's for me and you guys or whether it's just for me. I really want to do this. So here I am sitting here and I'm doing it. I think it is important for me to mention that I am a mom. If you guys have not picked up on that already, I am a mom. Now, it is also very important that that aspect of my life stays private for their sakes. And so I will not be showing them. I will not be talking about them in great detail, but I do believe that it is important for that to be known, because as a huge part of my life, I stay at home. So I am a stay-at-home mom, and I take it very seriously. It is a dream of mine that has come true. And so I think that it is a very important aspect to this greater story and this greater future that I have of healing myself and getting to a point where I can manage these symptoms. I really hope that nobody will just tell me I'm mom tired, because that really annoys me. Because this is something else. And now that I have a diagnosis, it kind of proves that it is something else. Granted, does that aspect of my life contribute to what I have going on? Absolutely. Anyone out there that is a mom will know and will be able to fully understand and relate to what it takes, that level of commitment that it takes to be a mom and to be a good mom. And I want to say a stay-at-home mom, but that does not in any way, shape, or form discredit any version of a mom. Like, you're still a mom, whether you work 10 hours a day or whether you work 2 hours a day, or whether you stay at home with your kids all the time, and whether you homeschool or your kid goes to school, like, it doesn't matter. You're still a mom, regardless of what your life looks like. So, all of the other videos that I have seen on recovery for this doesn't mention that they are a parent at all. Whether they are a parent and they don't mention that they're a parent, or whether they are not and don't have that aspect to add into the equation of healing, I don't know. So I can't really say that it's easier to find a path towards healing not being a mom, but I know that it's going to take a different approach possibly from me than it is for somebody who has the same thing that is not a mom. So for me, if I am tired at 9:30 a.m., I'm not able to just come and lay down and go to sleep. It's not an option for me. And so I just have to design my life and my lifestyle in order to accommodate for those things, and how to find relaxation in my mind, how to find relaxation in my body, that fits into my particular lifestyle. So I plan on bringing you guys along with me to try all the things to discovering that. And guys, I'm sure that I'm going to try paths that don't work, and you're going to see that. But that's the whole point of this series, is to show you what worked for me and the journey getting there. It's not just, hey, look, it worked, here's what I did, because that might not work for you. That might not be obtainable for you. Like with me, I'm so abundantly grateful for all of these stories. But there is a small level of anxiety that goes into, hold on, are you a mom? Do you have other people that depend on you in such a massive way to be there? And so in the back of my mind, I'm just like, okay, is this going to work for me? Because I don't have the same, I possibly don't have the same options that they have. You know, like some of these people are saying I was bedridden, and I'm just like, okay, does that mean you're way, 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 way worse than I am? Or is it because you have the option to be bedridden? And I mean that in zero offense, absolutely zero offense. I know that there are all different intensities and versions of these diagnoses. I totally do not mean that to be offensive in the slightest, but it is something that is going through my mind as I am looking this in the face and saying, okay, what path is going to get me to the healing, get me to the finish line of feeling like I am in control of these symptoms and not the other way around. All right, that sums up today's video. I will see you tomorrow.